Before this giant crane can earn a single dollar, it has to spend hundreds of thousands just getting to the job site. Moving a machine of this size isn't as simple as turning the key and driving away. It requires an entire convoy of support trucks, specialized transport vehicles, experienced drivers, and days of planning. Its destination lies more than 4,100 kilometers away on the other side of China. The journey crosses 6 provinces and regions, climbs mountain ranges, passes through remote deserts, and navigates some of the country's most dangerous highways. For the next 5 days, this isn't construction. This is one of the largest heavy-haul transportation missions imaginable. Our story begins in Xinjiang, home to one of China's largest construction equipment manufacturers. Before departure, the crane takes center stage during an official send-off ceremony. Although the convoy includes one of the world's largest 4,000-ton cranes, today's mission belongs to another giant, a 1,000-ton all-terrain crane worth nearly $10 million. But before it can travel, it has to be taken apart. Its massive boom sections, each weighing several tons, are removed and loaded onto support trucks. By the time every component is packed, more than a dozen escort vehicles are needed just to carry the crane's equipment. The transportation bill alone reaches hundreds of thousands of dollars before the crane even begins working. Decorated with the traditional red ribbon marking its departure, the crane begins an epic journey stretching more than 4,100 kilometers. The convoy will travel through Jiangsu, Anhui, Henan, Shanxi, Gansu, and finally into Xinjiang. A journey across half of China. Because of its enormous weight, the crane cannot use permanent license plates. Instead, every trip requires temporary permits and carefully planned routes. Its maximum highway speed rarely exceeds 70 kilometers per hour. Not because the drivers want to go slowly, but because a machine weighing hundreds of tons simply can't travel any faster safely. After only a few hours, the convoy reaches its first fuel stop. And this is where the true cost of operating a super crane begins to show. Each refueling requires hundreds of liters of diesel. One stop can easily cost thousands of dollars, and this won't be the last. By the end of the journey, fuel expenses alone will reach staggering numbers. As night falls, heavy rain and thick fog reduce visibility. The convoy pushes onward toward Luoyang. Even with 2 professional drivers taking turns behind the wheel, progress remains slow. Time is money. A crane of this size can earn tens of thousands of dollars every day on a construction site. By the second morning, the convoy has already traveled roughly 1,200 kilometers. 5 provinces have been crossed in just over 24 hours. But despite the impressive distance, the hardest part of the journey is still ahead. As the convoy enters Gansu province, the landscape changes dramatically. Green fields disappear. The scenery becomes endless shades of brown. Mountains, rocky valleys, and vast open plains stretch toward the horizon. The route now climbs through branches of the Kilian Mountains, where steep grades place even greater demands on the crane's massive engine. Fuel consumption rises dramatically. On these mountain roads, every kilometer burns money. As the convoy enters Gansu province, the landscape changes dramatically. By evening, the convoy reaches Yongdeng. While the drivers stop briefly for dinner, the crane gets another expensive meal of its own. Hundreds more liters of diesel disappear into the fuel tank. At this point, the crane has already consumed nearly a full ton of fuel. And remember, this doesn't include the dozen support trucks following behind. Traffic becomes another major obstacle. Thousands of freight trucks share these highways, carrying coal, oil, industrial equipment, and oversized cargo across western China. Even after driving another 1,100 kilometers, the convoy is still inside Gansu. That's just how enormous China's northwest really is. Eventually, the crane exits the expressway for the first time. The toll bill alone surprises even experienced drivers. Moving an oversized vehicle across thousands of kilometers comes with enormous highway fees, and the journey is far from over. Soon, the convoy enters Xinjiang, China's largest province. The scenery transforms almost instantly. Massive wind farms stretch across the plains, Herds of horses graze beneath the setting sun. Snow-covered mountains rise in the distance. The roads seem endless. Inside Xinjiang, the distances become even more intimidating. Fuel stations are farther apart. Mountains become larger. The highways cut through some of the most remote landscapes in the country. By the end of the third day, another 1,000 kilometers have passed beneath the crane's wheels. On day 4, the convoy faces one of the journey's greatest challenges, a legendary mountain highway known for its sharp curves and steep climbs. More than 240 turns are packed into a stretch of barely 70 kilometers. Long uphill grades, narrow lanes, strong crosswinds, and oversized transport vehicles moving at walking speed. One mistake here could have serious consequences. Hours later, another fuel stop. By now, the crane alone has consumed nearly $30,000 worth of diesel, and that's before counting the fuel used by more than a dozen support vehicles traveling alongside it. The cost of transporting this machine is extraordinary, but reaching the construction site on time is priceless. Finally, after nearly 5 days on the road, the convoy approaches Baicheng County in Aksu. Towering mountains give way to massive industrial facilities, oil fields, power infrastructure, heavy industry. This is exactly where a machine like this belongs. Its journey across half of China is finally over, but its real work is only beginning. Over the following days, technicians carefully reassemble every section that had been removed before departure. Piece by piece, the giant crane rises once again. Now fully assembled, the 1,000-ton machine stands ready to join one of China's largest infrastructure projects. It left Suzhou as cargo. It arrived in Xinjiang as one of the most powerful construction machines in the region. A 5-day journey, more than 4,100 kilometers, millions invested, thousands of liters of fuel consumed. Also, one machine can help build the next chapter of modern infrastructure. Because sometimes the biggest construction project begins long before the crane ever lifts its first load.